Good morning, everybody. Hello and welcome. This is another episode of Cardweaver and Witch, Grimoire of the Ever Unfolding. Everything is always unfolding, all the things, all the time. Who knows? I don't know. Do you know? I'm not sure. I'm so tired. I'm so tired. I had to get blood work done today. So yeah, I had to wake up early, had to do all the things because you want to get there before everyone else starts to get there. And yeah. So, I did my thing. We're recording this on June 3rd, 2024, 9:26 a.m. here in Northern California. I did my thing. I shuffled, I focused, and I said, what can we talk about today? What conversations can we have today? What is necessary for today's adventure? And the Eight of Swords was kindly kind enough to show to show up for us. The Eight of Swords, and just look at that image if you're watching this. And if you're not watching this, if you're just listening, go get a tarot deck and get the Eight of Swords, or look at your phone and get the Eight of Swords up. And you can see it's very interesting to me. When I first started learning tarot, when I saw the Eight of Swords, I was like, oh my gosh, it's a lot. It's a lot. But like as I age, as I get older, and as I get more experience in processing cards, and more more readings done, more people connected with, I feel there's with this card, there's a sense of ease, like there's some sort of like calmness to it, where it's like I understand the situation that I'm in. I understand that where I'm at in life right now has to do with things that I've put into motion, right? And so I don't know, there's some sort of acceptance that I feel with this card. So the Eight of Swords often appears when we are trapped by our own perceptions and fears. This card challenges us to examine the mental barriers we construct, which prevent us from seeing the truth of our situations. By identifying these invisible walls, we can begin the process of dismantling them and moving towards freedom. So a lot of like when the Eight of Swords pops up, a lot of the stuff that we communicate about, like the conversation we need to have with client or reader and yada 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 back and forth, is that of something being self-imposed. Like where is our mental health? Where is our mental like focus? What thoughts are we thinking? Excuse me. What are we, whatever situation that we're in, whatever we feel like, oh my gosh, I just can't move, let us take that situation and unpack it. What do I believe around this situation? What are my thoughts around the situation, around the events of the situation, around the peoples of the situation, all of it. So the Eight of Swords is this opportunity to ask questions about things that are self-imposed. Like, you know what, and I think that we've all been there. We've all been in situations where we make more, what's that damn saying, making mountains out of molehills. That is so old. I am so old, oh my gosh, but that's like, that just popped into my head. So with this card, that's something that we have to sort of like address. And so the Eight of Swords is, we've all, again, like I said, we've all been there thinking something to be like, before we even enter an experience, we have allowed our anxiety to take full root and to like put ourselves in different situations, and oh, we're gonna fight here and this is gonna happen, all the drama, drama, drama. And then when we get into that situation, we're like, oh wow, none of that happened. I didn't have to like get my blood pressure all high, and I didn't have to like, stress myself out for that, because it didn't, none of this stuff happened to the extent that I created in my mind. Does that make sense? Um, and so some practical applications when this card pops up, like when we need to, like, how do we process this card, how do we process the work to be done here. From a mind standpoint, we can cultivate mindfulness practices that focus on self-reflection, spend time each day to meditate on our thoughts and feelings, identify any recurring negative patterns that may signify mental traps we've set up for ourselves. And so what we can do with this card is to be extra mindful, like ground center, focus on being in a meditative state, and just be with our thoughts, and see where they sort of gravitate towards, see what they're invested in, and then see something, like be mindful of the things that keep occurring, keep popping up, and then, oh, that might be a pattern for us to work through. That might be a pattern where we can explore more and start to balance it out or retune it to something that fits better within our life. Okay. Body. Engage in physical activities that require mental focus, such as yoga or martial arts. These disciplines can help you become more aware of your body's responses to mental stress and teach you how to release both physical and mental tension. I really like this because it does show that, there are various ways in which we can work with the Eight of Swords energy. And so, like, again, martial arts and yoga are really great because it allows us to get into sort of like a meditative state, but also that meditative state is very physical because we are working the body, but it's also a mental state that we have to sort of like, a mental discipline, I should say. And all of that working together allows us to recognize, like, you know what, I have the mental capabilities, the power to shift and change actual things in my life. And yes, by simply by doing yoga or martial arts or something of that nature that stimulates the mind and body, it allows us the sort of opportunity to experience that. And it reminds us, like, oh, I'm not trapped here. I don't need to feel trapped, but I can work through this, right? And so, spirit, keep a journal of your dreams and intuitions. Often, our subconscious will communicate areas of mental confinement through symbols and narratives and dreams. So, guiding us to recognize and address these limitations spiritually. And so, well, hey, Zoe, good to see you. I'm having a great day. I am so far. It's gonna be great. The weather's actually nice-ish. It's not so hot. So yeah, so the spirit aspect is pay attention to your dreams, pay attention to your intuition, pay attention to your emotion, to what you're feeling, because those feelings, yes, that's water, but like those feelings, those dreams, those emotions can act as that sort of red light, that indicator to what we're thinking. So if we're feeling something, it's an indicator as to, oh, there are thought processes that are being utilized to usher in this emotion. Does that make sense? And so, when we are aware, when we keep a dream journal, or we're writing about how we feel, whatever we're going through, when the seven shit, sorry, the Eight of Swords pops up, we can be aware, like, oh yeah, this is coming up in my dreams, or this is coming up in what I feel. This is what's coming up in my thoughts now. And we can use that, right? We can use that to help find a solution. The next aspect of this card that I'd like to tackle is a little bit about the symbolism. Um, and always pay attention to body language, body positioning, symbols, break it apart, colors as well, all of that. Read the card as you would read and assess a situation in an environment that you're maybe not used to. So this card is rich in symbolism, from the blindfold and bindings to the encircling swords and the puddle at the figure's feet. Each element reflects aspects of being trapped or restricted, primarily by our own thoughts. Again, swords, air, thoughts, mental stuff. Communication, that stuff. The imagery encourages us to look beyond surface appearances and to question the reality of the constraints we perceive around us. And I love that, because with the Eight of Swords, I really like that, because with that energy, it's like, okay, I always say it does. I read a card as it is. Like, I especially with like my Rider Waite, like I dissect it. I dissect everything. And so like I pay attention to color, I pay attention to positioning. So are they more towards the left or the right? Are they front facing? What does the body actually, like, if I were to imagine this like taking place, like how would it look like? I pay attention to everything when I read, like how it feels in that moment, what it might feel like for the individual. But yeah, I do feel color, like pay attention to it. I mean, obviously, even in like black and white decks, or you can see like different shading, or there's different intensity of tone, that you can filter that in as well. But like I do pay attention to color when I read. But yeah, so the Eight of Swords here, if we look at it, there's a lot of things like being stuck in the mud, and it's like wet and gross. Like, it's gross, it's muddy. Well, hello, Gabby. Welcome. But like it's muddy, it's kind of yucky, it's making that gross icky noise, when it's like oh. All of it. And so you're kind of stuck, and you don't want to really move, because you don't know if like the next step you're going to get deeper in that mud. And so it's like but that's the thing. I don't know if I want to get deeper in the mud, but I also recognize like I don't want to be here. So it's like, I'm just gonna stay here, right? Or I'm going to be aware of my situation, remove these bandages or bindings and the blindfold, and I'm going to walk. I'm going to walk. It's going to be messy. It's going to be really messy, but I'm probably going to slip and fall on my ass, because that happens. And but we're going to get through it, right? And so you can see what this when this pops up. Oh, there's restriction here, but it's also self-imposed. There's bindings here, but they're kind of like the individual's bound, but also not too tightly. Like they don't look uncomfortable where they can't actually free themselves. Okay. And there's so many swords. They can utilize a sword to get free. um and so, with that, practical applications to work with this aspect of the card, uh, develop critical thinking skills by challenging our initial perceptions and exploring multiple viewpoints. This practice can help break down mental barriers formed by narrow or biased thinking and open up new ways of understanding your circumstances. I feel like I do this to a fault, so like it's kind of frustrating to have a conversation with me, because like I will shift my thinking like in mid sentence, and what I was initially saying I kind of like I'll go back on sometimes, because I when I'm having a conversation, I am like thinking about, okay, this is what I believe, and then in my head, I know it's a lot, y'all, but let me know if you do this too. But like in my head, I'm already thinking about like, well, this is why I believe this. This is my upbringing. This is all these things, and so I can see where I would believe this, but how would someone else think about this, or how would a person who's the target of something think about this, depending on the conversations. Like, oh, well, then yeah, I can see the other viewpoint, or I can see this and this and this, because we're all different. We're all raised differently. Society is different to each and every one of us. And we all have different things that we're basing our response on. And so, oh, it's a lot. It's a lot. And so, like, I think it's important for us to do that though, to develop our critical thinking skills, and to ask, like, okay, I'm in a situation. Is it really as intense as I think it is? Or do I just feel that it's intense because, whatever reason? Uh, if I was someone else handling this, or if someone else was going through this, how would I handle them going through it? Like, would I still feel the same way? Or would they feel the same way going through it themselves? So I think it's important to tackle it from that sort of standpoint, depending on what we're going through, because it helps us sort of like pull our head out of that intense mental space and kind of process from a detached a detached point of view, so we can actually have more information to work with, right? Well, I'm glad. I'm glad. Yeah. I'm glad that you're here. So our body, the body, so create a personal space for or sanctuary that symbolizes freedom and safety. This physical environment can serve as a daily reminder of your journey toward breaking free from mental constraints and the importance of nurturing a space that reflects personal insight and liberation. Christina, I'm going to use you as an example. Not to say that this is what you do and this is why you do it, but like I just love Christina's garden. I just love this space. I don't know why. I just love the fact that she's out there, she's building, and she has the ability to like do all these things. I'm very impressed by. um And so for me, it's like, okay, if I was in an Eight of Swords space where I feel restricted, I feel like maybe backed into a corner, and I'm asking myself, am I like really making more stress on myself than necessary? Well, let's get into the body. And so maybe like I would go to the garden area, right? I would go to the garden area because then that's something I can do something about, right? That's something that I can actually get my hands dirty, and I can like weed, or I can plant something. I don't know, water some shit. Like I can do something. And so I'm still holding space for that Eight of Swords energy. Like I feel some type of way, but I'm also doing something physical, and I have a place where I feel like in control. Right? Does that make sense? And so I feel in control because I've created it. Like I've utilized, like I'm a handy person because I've like made all this shit from scratch. Like watch out world, crafty, and I'm able to do this, right? And I feel like this, I feel proud about my space because I made it. I followed through, I took action, I created. Does that make sense? And so I feel good about it. And so I think that like the Eight of Swords sometimes is when we're going through a situation that's really like bothering us and we feel stuck. Let's get into a space where we feel in control, where we feel a sanctuary, where we feel accomplished and beautiful and strong, and we love. But it has to be something physical, right? So make or even like make a space for that. Like when we're going through it. Okay, good, thank you. Sometimes like I ramble and I'm thinking about the things in my head, and then I say the words, and I'm like, I hope that everything that's coming out is like flowing and making sense, because there's just a lot going on here. But when we're going through like an Eight of Swords moment, maybe we take some time to build that space. Maybe it's not a space we have like permanent, but then we can like just go to like, I don't know, some the kitchen, or like the dining area, or a space in the house, or the apartment, or whatever, and start to like add things to make you feel in control, to make you feel good and safe and all of that. Okay. And so the spirit aspect of the Eight of Swords, like how do we, tackle it? Use visualization techniques to imagine yourself breaking free from the chains of your limitations. Spiritual visualization can be a powerful tool to reinforce the belief in your ability to overcome barriers and manifest freedom in your life. So, what I would suggest for this is to get a depiction of the Eight of Swords, and ground, center, meditate, look at the card, and then every sword in that card, program it with the energy of like whatever that challenge that you're going through, right? Say that's what this represents. These swords represent the challenge, or whatever. And the bandages also, like envision yourself as the individual there, and your feeling of whatever you're going through, the Eight of Swords energy, whatever it is that you're going through, feel that, and then see the swords be around you like that, and then see the bandages like go around you, like feel the bandages and visualize them go, or bandages, the bindings, whatever, go around your body, but they're wrapping around your body in a way that is like you're just like, really? You think you're gonna hold me like this? Because it's loose. They're not so tight where you can't actually free yourself. And put that blindfold on and and sit in that visualization for a second. And then when you're ready, express some sort of affirmation or intention. Like, I recognize, like, this space is my doing. I may be making it worse than what it needs to be. And so I am not going to do that moving forward. And start to see your hands move a little more and break free from those bindings, pull the blindfold off, and look around and see like the swords challenge, but they're old swords now. They're kind of rusty and they're like, useless, and then they all fall. Visualize something like that, like breaking free, recognizing like I have the power to do something about my situation. My thoughts are going to help guide me to feeling better, and I'm going to handle whatever comes to me, and I'm not going to make it out to be worse than what it is. And so, finally, we have the I don't know. We have the last aspect of, or talking point of the day, for the Eight of Swords. Um, the Eight of Swords calls for a confrontation, self-binding, security. If you can't see it, it doesn't exist. Uh, that's a hard one. That's a hard one, because it's like, well, if you can't see it, it kind of does still exist, but like, oh, that's a good one. That's a good one, because with this card, it's kind of like it doesn't exist. Um it's like these self-imposed things are air energies, so thoughts that are keeping us from moving forward, keeping us from actually, like, it's putting the blinders on so we don't have to look at what's in front of us you know um and so I guess for this as well, you could say ignorance is bliss, right? But we also know that's not really true. That's not really true, because if you think about it, if ignorance is bliss, but you see a lot of we witness a lot to what ignorant people do to people who are different, you know? And it's not bliss. It's pain, it's hurt, it's trauma, right? So that's a good one. That's a good one. Um, the Eight of Swords calls for a confrontation with our inner fears and a reassessment of what truly holds us back. It urges us to use our intellect and clarity, the essence of the sword suit, to cut through confusion and misperception by fostering self awareness and challenging our limiting beliefs. We empower, we empower ourselves to step out of paralysis and into action. And so I like that. Yeah, and that kind of goes with what was said. So um it's with this card, it is vital for us to again recognize, like, oh, where my ignorance is not a good thing. And y'all, do not be ashamed and do not feel any type of way for being ignorant, because we all are. And I'm not like, we all are. uh what we should not be okay with is choosing to still be ignorant when something else is added, like when we have more knowledge. It's like, oh, okay, well, I can better work this now. Now that I have more language, more vocabulary, more understanding. Like I didn't understand, and so I'm sorry if I said things or I did things that were out of ignorance. I don't want to make anyone feel that way, and I don't want to project that. So now that I have more information, I will absolutely make it a point to keep doing better. I understand that I will falter, right? I understand that I'm not perfect, but it will be something that I'm now aware of moving forward, right? And so with this aspect of the card, it's definitely saying, okay, we need to reassess. Like we're allowing fear to hold us back. We're allowing our thoughts to hold us back. And I know, I recognize, like, it's not as easy as, oh, we're allowing it, because like everyone is different and we all have different like mental faculties, mental challenges, things to go through, right? And so like depending on that, everyone has different things that will also determine how we handle our life. Yeah, how we handle these things. So it's not always as simple as me just saying these things. But yes, our thoughts, our mental faculties, the things that we are really like obsessing about, may be holding us back and preventing us from actually experiencing and moving forward and letting go. Like letting go of the shit that is not ours. Like it's not mine to carry this with me. I don't need to carry this with me. It's not mine, and I'm not going to do it anymore. Right? What beliefs do I hold that are limiting in their creation? Um, it's time to focus on empowering ourselves to step out of feeling stagnant, of feeling like I can't move, and start doing little things, even little things. And some people have it where they just can't get up and get out of bed. They're extremely depressed. And not everyone gets depressed, because I hate when people say, oh, we all get depressed. No, we don't. Like that might be a word that we use to feel like, oh, we're sad, or we feel down, but like depression is a very serious and real thing. And there's like a spectrum of it, I guess, layers, severity, right, intensity of it. And so we cannot comprehend what someone else is going through when they say they are depressed and they can't get out of bed. It is not healthy or beneficial to say, oh, well, we all do it, just go, just get out. No, that doesn't work. Sorry, a little soapbox, I guess. But like with that, if someone is at that point with this card, it could be like, what can you do today that will make you, maybe what can you do today to think about getting up, or think about feeling better, or what thoughts can you hold space for that make you feel good? You're not just not feeling better, or not being depressed, but like just what make you feel good? What thoughts can you think that feel good, or what can you reach for? What is there a certain activity? Maybe you're not getting out of bed today, but like, do you want to can you color? Do you want to color? And do you want to color like something funny? Do like with the Eight of Swords, it's like reaching. Oh, is my sound cutting out? I'm sorry. I don't know why. Huh. Is it cutting out for everybody? That's weird. So it's reaching for that little thing that we can do to make better or to feel better. It's not having the complete solution. It's not like yes. Sorry. Yeah. Like that's a way better. I was like fumbling for it, reaching for those tools that allow you to help yourself, and not and having tools to do so. Like I think that's another cool thing about the Eight of Swords. If we think about it, if we start to shift it around, and this can be part of a visualization technique, all of those swords that are in line, that all those beliefs that are holding us back, start to huh I'm gonna have to re-listen. I don't know why my audio is cutting out. It doesn't show up on my screen that it's messed up. Uh, Sorry. So okay, might be just a connection thing for the other. Okay, cool. So not cool, but it's if we visualize it, the Eight of Swords, instead of seeing all these swords holding us back, it's like, ooh la la. All of these swords in line are now being replaced with tools I have. Thank you. Okay, thank you. It's probably, it might just be a connection issue, Zoe. Um, which I sorry for that sucks for you. Um, but yes, sorry. So the swords here, we can replace them with tools. Uh, so let's find those tools, and we can have several different tools in our toolkit, and we won't use them all, but let's look at what tools we have available to us, right? And so yes, this card can be finding clarity, mental clarity, by just, we don't have to be better. And that's, I think that's the thing that also I feel deep down, and I hope that speaking this transfers correctly, but like, there is nothing wrong with you. Like, people who have a mental distress, or have like, or severe depression, severe anxiety, like, there is nothing wrong with you. People who have PTSD, there is nothing wrong with you. You have something that you experience, right? I hate when people say, oh, there's something wrong. No, you have something that you have to work with and navigate, but there is nothing wrong with you. And people, like, this used to be said a lot, and I'm so glad it doesn't get said that much anymore out loud anyways. But like, when people would autistic children, and they'd be like, oh, there's something wrong. No, there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with this baby. There's nothing wrong with an individual who's different. There's nothing wrong with you. You just have a different layout, a different body, mental, whatever blueprint. And I think with this, it's recognizing we have to find those solutions within our capabilities, and choose them, whatever we can do that day. So if you can't get out of bed because you're depressed, you know honor it. Honor it. It is okay. But that doesn't mean you're going to stay in bed forever, right? And when you're ready, when you have a moment, the Eight of Swords is like, let's find a tool. Like, I know that I'm here because I feel some type of way. Because I'm going through something, like there may be a chemical imbalance, whatever it is. I am here, and I also know that I'm powerful, and I can choose things that will bring a little bit of ease to my situation, whatever that is. Today, maybe it's coloring in the color book that's all swear words, Uh, and so I'm gonna color, today is gonna be a fuck day, and and it doesn't mean the same for everybody, but today I'm going to be coloring that word. And here we go. And that makes me giggle. That makes me, I'm going to use colors that make me feel good. And I do that. And I know it sounds silly. I know it sounds silly, but it's not. And I feel accomplished. And that accomplishment, that fun energy, like, it helps to disperse that heaviness a little bit. And so tomorrow, maybe I'll think about doing something different, right? Maybe I'll think about doing something a little more strenuous, whatever that is, but still something I enjoy. And then the next day, and then the next day, and eventually, guess what? Get out of bed. But it's a process. I'm so sorry that I just spent like forever on this. And so that's a practical application. Regularly engage in problem solving exercises or puzzles. These activities can sharpen your intellectual clarity, enhance decision making skills, and improve your ability to cut through confusion, mirroring the action needed to overcome the challenges depicted by the Eight of Swords. I think chess is also fun if you like that. And so, focusing on things that I can't talk, that kind of like stimulate the headspace, the mental space, and it gives us like something to work through. It's a challenge, and it's like, oh, I like this because I can. This is something I can work with, and this is something I can do. And I realize, like, challenges, like when something's like mentally straining, but I actually enjoy it. I can actually work through, and I have the power to navigate it and solve the problem, and it makes me feel good. And I realize I can apply that to life as well. When life gets really frustrating or or intense and I feel like I can't move, I can start to think of it as a puzzle. What puzzle pieces do I need? Do I start with the edges, right? What do I need to put it together? Okay. The invisible diseases the public can't see is like a broken bone, so it gets shuffled under the table, and we are told there's nothing wrong. And it's, yeah, yeah, yep, yeah, yep. Body, practice assertiveness training exercises to physically express your personal power and reclaim your space. This can help solidify your mental efforts to break free from self imposed limitations by embodying them through confident, assertive body language. Ooh, yes, I like body language. Like, carry yourself in a way that feels like, you know what, I've been through it, but because I've been through it, I have a story, and my story makes me stronger. And I'm going to use my story to work, work out whatever I need to work out. And I'm going to find that confidence, find that strength and get to where I need to be. Like, step into it. Step into it. I recognize this is where I am today and we're going to make the most of it. Spirit. Participate in community or group therapy sessions where shared experiences and collective wisdom can help you realize you are not alone in your struggles. Spiritual and emotional support from others can be crucial in recognizing and overcoming personal and external limitations. So, with this, it makes me think of like, not rehab, but like going to meetings, whatever those are. There's so many different kinds of meetings where people get together, share stories, and try to help each other. um it makes me think of that. And the Eight of Swords can definitely represent, like, oh, I feel like, let's say I was an addict, right? An addict, and people treat me some type of way because, of the decisions that I made during that time. But I'm no longer an addict, or you know what I mean. I'm recovering addict, I should say. And I'm working through all of this, but they still treat me a certain type of way. They're waiting for me to break, and it's like, it's a lot, and I feel like I can't move. I feel like I can't do shit because everyone is looking at me and judging and blah 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 blah. And so with the Eight of Swords, like, look, this very well could be like, go to a place where people can share stories and help each other and uplift each other, support each other, and also understand, not the same struggle that you went through, but like their own struggle, and what they're doing to work through it. Maybe it's therapy, maybe it's group therapy, who knows? Whatever it is for you, find that and try it out. They can very well see this with the Eight of Swords. It's like, I feel like I can't move because I have a story, and people are now judging me for that story. But we have to also find that other people's judgments and perceptions, if we allow them to get into our head, it's not it will isolate us. It will stun us. We will not move because we fear what other people will say or what they will do. And it's like, no, we have to reclaim our own power. And this card shows us how to do that by assessing our body, assessing the situation, our mental faculties, asking ourselves, what do we need right now? I understand that I'm not moving at this moment because I have some sort of fear that is preventing me from moving, but how can I work with that fear? How can I actually start to make little steps to find a solution to feel better? Right? Does that make sense? But that was the last that was the last talking point of this card. It got heavy. I'm so sorry. But that's a little bit about the Eight of Swords. Um I hope that you can take something from these and utilize them, but definitely food for thought. I wanted to talk about cards, but I also didn't want to like give readings. I do that as a profession. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to provide insight that people could use in their own readings or however, but also like practical steps to like maybe work with the card's energy when it pops up. And I hope that we're doing well with that so far. But yeah, that's what's popping up for the Eight of Swords to be discussed. There's so much to tarot. Like, we didn't even get into the astrology of it. um Eight of Swords is the first decan of Gemini, which I believe is Jupiter in Gemini, which all of that Gemini stuff, all of the ebb and flow and the communication, and Jupiter's expansive energy and growth energy, and higher learning energy adds to that, to add some really cool layers that we did not get into. But that is what's popping up today. And I thank you. I will not be here tomorrow. My niece is graduating and we have to get up so early, so early. But yeah, I won't be able to do a video tomorrow because I'll probably be super tired as well as not here. So thank you so much for being present with me. I appreciate you all. I appreciate you letting me share this with you. And like always, if you have any thoughts, questions, concerns, always feel free to reach out to me. I'm here to help where I can, here to be of service when able. I will talk to you back on Wednesday. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, bye.